What's the deal, my people? You know what, it's Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another From Season 2, Episode 3 review. In this video, we will recap it, and when I'm done, I will give you all of my theories and what I think is going to happen going forward. And if you're into that and into call-in live streams where you can talk to the cast members yourself, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button. When you subscribe, make sure you click the bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. Let's get right into it. The episode starts off with Boyd trying to figure out exactly what Martin did to him. And is this something good or this something bad? From his perspective, right off the bat, it's something bad. He then talks to his son Ellis, who questions him where he's been and also what happened to Sarah. Where is Sarah? And while he's trying to explain everything about what happened to him, it seems that Ellis does not buy everything that he's saying, which, why would he? Sounds crazy. I went into a tree and I was teleported somewhere else. Ellis also voices concern for Fatima, who is losing her mind, and he doesn't understand exactly why she is or what he can do to prevent this from happening, and Boyd gives him reason not to be concerned about it. There is a theme that goes through all of these characters this episode that link them all together, and we'll talk about that at the end in the theory department. We are then taken to the Matthews family, who is inside of the hospital. Jim is laid out. Tabitha, finally, the reuniting of this family has taken place. But what happens here is that Jim and Tabitha want to speak alone, and Tabitha tells them that those wires led nowhere. There was nothing connecting them. So therefore, the electricity was not a generator down there or anything else. After this, Jim and Tabitha exchange a great moment, saying that they need each other. Again, before, when they left on the trip, they were planning on getting divorced. But this place has solidified their relationship and made them realize that they cannot live without each other. So if there's a good thing that's happened in this place, let's say that this one thing is the good thing that's happened. After this, we see Donna and Colin. I know his name is AJ. I'm just saying Colin. AJ is the actor's name. Get into it again. He wants to keep his gun. Why wouldn't you in a place like this? But she's trying to explain to him it's not going to work. And then we got our boy Boyd shows up on the scene and tells him straight up, you can keep your gun, but you can't stay in town or at Colony House. So you want to keep your gun or you want to give your gun up. This gets him to bend the knee and conform with the rules of the town because he's seen exactly everything that's happened. I do believe he's going to be a problem. He did not want to give up that gun at all, and I just don't see things working out. I think he's going to test the limits of everybody in this town when it's all said and done, especially the nerves of Donna. And Donna's at a wit's end right now. You know, so it's going to be pretty easy to test her. After that, we see Tabitha take Ethan and her daughter to the diner and get some food. During this exchange, while they're trying to get some food, she's looking outside. She sees her house has collapsed and everything that's inside that they actually had, everything they brought in the RV is all wiped away and they have nothing at all to lean back on. That's when she goes back inside and she talks to Kenny's mom, and Kenny's mom offers her to stay with her inside of their house. So now we have the Matthew families in that house, we have Jade in that house, and we also have Kenny's family, who owns the house and who they're staying with. So this is going to be interesting, having all of them around each other, especially having Ethan around Jade. I think that we've already seen interaction between those two, and I think that it's going to be a good thing with those two kicking around advice to each other. Donna confronts Boyd outside of the bus where they have another firearm, asking him if he's okay and exactly what went on with him in the woods. But he will not answer exactly what's going on with him and what happened to him while he was in the woods. Why would he? Because he just seen the reaction he got from his son. So what do you think is going to happen for somebody else? After this, we see what the episode is truly about. We see Kenny and we see Ellis up in the woods. Ellis is picking flowers for Fatima, and he brings up, listen, Kenny, I know that you're upset that your girl's girl is back and everything else. Kenny don't want to talk about it, but he says there's a rod missing for one of their traps. And the fact that they have traps for animals, for food to catch, why wouldn't they make a trap for one of these creatures? I just don't understand it. If you're making a snare and doing these things already, make a trap for one of these creatures and let's try to catch one of these creatures. But they hear some music playing on a cell phone, and when they do, they make their grisly discovery of what this actual episode means, tethered as we see the girl who was inside of the bar with her boyfriend is alive, but she has a steel rod stuck right in her forehead, and it's placed in such a way that she can still be alive while this thing is inside of her head. The fact that the monsters did that is something we're going to have to talk about at the end of this episode. We see Victor arrive back at home, realize his violin was taken and his room was trashed. He goes out there to confront Jade, who is actually playing the violin. Funny fact, the actor who plays Jade is a great violinist, and they must have put that in knowing that he could play the violin. Victor, being no punk, said, yo, give me my violin back. I want it back. He takes the violin back from Jade. Jade then tracks him down outside the house to let him know, listen, I've seen you in the same picture with the guy who's drawing all the images, the same images that I'm seeing. Do you know anything about this guy that can help us get home? Victor looks at the picture and 100% knows who this guy is, but he does not want to talk about it. I think that the way that Jay came at him, there was no way at this particular time that Victor was going to help him find out exactly what's going on. But I don't think that's the end of this story. I do believe those two will hook up in a future episode when Jade knows how to get some manners and actually learns how to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? I think that that could be a reason. And there's a reason why Victor has a violin and Jade knows how to play it. So that could be a tying factor for them. Could be some type of song that they have that reminds him of something that maybe Jade could play for him or something like that. That's just me speculating. Let's go on. Christy and her girlfriend are out here and they're talking, and the girlfriend is just like, I just don't understand everything that's going on out here. I don't understand you. I don't even know if we can stay together or live together under the circumstances that I have seen so far in this town. But while they're talking and trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation, we see Kenny then burst through the door and he's like, we need your help in the woods ASAP, because they're thinking that there's a chance that they can get this girl untethered from the tree and save her life. But when you see her in this situation, it's just no way. It was purposely done. She was purposely placed here to be put on display for a reason. The monsters just didn't do this to do this. They did this for the fear factor. In fact, she says that when they dragged them outside, that they made her watch as they killed or dismembered or whatever they did to her boyfriend. They specifically said that they wanted her to watch, and then that they were going to have some fun with her afterwards. Never seen zombies in any type of monster movie act this way. So these creatures are not zombies. There's a lot more going on here. When the nurse finally pulls up and rolls up on it, she says specifically, even if they were in a hospital situation, that this would take at least 18, 19 hours to perform this, to get this to remove from her head. I've seen situations like this in New York City where people were hit with trains and they stayed alive due to the adrenaline in their body, but once the train was removed, they just completely dropped dead. And that's what they're facing right here. And Kenny buck wild on this whole situation. We're going to get back to that. Jim then, after listening to Tabitha that there was no electricity inside of the wires, goes up and wants to check the light on the exit switch because the exit switch starts flickering. After that, we meet the new lady who was dancing in the rain, and she explains to him exactly what's been going on and the nuances of everything since he's got back. After that, we switch to our boy Elgin, who is being shown the ropes by Fatima. And an interesting thing here is that he says, can you show me a lake? Do you have like a river? And she goes, we have the Brundles. And this is where that he's seen in his dream that made him throw up, this Brundles. That's what he dreamed about. So what did he see in this? Because it looks very peaceful to me. They have some inner tubes, they got some lawn chairs out there, but what he's seen in his dream is the reason why he threw up in the first place. Something came out of that water, or something to do with that water was so upsetting to him that it made him throw up. And it doesn't look like that type of place that would make you do something like that. It actually looks like the only normal place that they have in this whole village. I have more on this Brundle situation a little bit later at the end of this video, so make sure that you stick around for that so we can continue talking about that. After that, we're back to the situation in the woods, and Kelly wilding out because he's told by Julie that, listen, there's no way she's going to live from this. She's gonna die. And Julie tells her that straight up. Very, I like that move that she did. Like, why even sugarcoat this thing? Shorty, you ain't gonna make it, right? You ain't gonna make it. And Kenny over here like, well, and she's like, we gotta remove the rod. And Kenny's like, yo, I could blow a brains out. Kenny like, yo, there's another way. Listen, Kenny gangster right now. He like, there's another way. I take out right now. Not that he wants to do it, but he brought that up real quick as an option. And she's like, no, her last days are not going to be with a gun, or last moments are not going to be with a gun to her head and everything else. That's just not where it's going to be. Again, we see her go over there and talk to her and tell her straight up that, there's no way that you can survive this. It's just impossible that you can survive this situation, and that anything that we do for you here is all going to result in your death, and there's no way. So she says, can I call my mother? And then we hear right then that the cell phones don't work there. So we know that for a fact. I know a lot of people ask that. We see Tabitha with the two children that come back. I told you before that was all in her head. And we see it in the scene that it was all in her head, that she was the only one who's seen this. Her daughter can't see it. So that means the girl in the cave was also in her head too. So she's getting visions of these children that aren't actually there. And her daughter then confronts her about it and asks her, Mom, what's going on with you? Why are you keeping things from me? I'm not a child anymore. And she explains it. Boyd then goes over and visits his wife Abby and tries to talk to her about it, but she starts to believe that maybe this isn't real. Maybe this is a dream. When you look at everything that he's been through, it's starting to make him think that, listen, maybe you were right, Abby. Maybe people are just sleeping and this is it. But I think that it makes it look like something's going on with Boyd, and we're going to get back to that as soon as I'm done with this recap. Again, Julie confronts her mother and says, you're going to have to start treating me somewhat like an adult and telling me things that's going on. And she talks about her son, Thomas, and how she used to hear Thomas after he passed away. And that reminds her of the things that are going on here when she's seeing these visions of these children. And she's thinking that those two things are connected in some way. The fact that she brought it up makes me believe that they're connected also. After that, we go back for the final time to the girl who is tethered to the tree. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this girl starts hearing a sound that nobody else can hear at all. A sound that starts to annoy her and causes her to freak out and start screaming and going crazy. While she starts screaming and this sound takes over her, we see Boyd. He hears it. He takes a look. He assesses the situation, and then he tells everyone that they can just leave and he'll handle it. But they refuse. He tells them again, I'm not just telling you this. This is a direct order that I'm giving you. I want y'all all out of here. But Julie refuses to go. She's like, I have to be here. I'm not leaving. And that is when Boyd, he goes up to her, he says her name, he gets her name, and then after that, you see him grab the rod and then he just has no choice but to pull the rod out of her head. As soon as he does pull the rod right out of her head, she collapses and she passes away instantly. After that, we see Julie go back to her girlfriend, and she's just broken down and she can't take it anymore, and she has no choice but to say, please stay with me, I just can't deal with this situation. Again, after this situation, we see Donna and Boyd talk, and Donna is devastated again, and she's like, I just can't take it. I have tried to take over for you for a little while, and while I did try to take over for you for a little while, what happened? I lost people. And Donna is devastated, and she's saying straight up, I want to know what happened to you, but I don't want to know exactly what's going on with you until you're ready to tell me. When you are ready to tell me, let me know, but let me know you got your wits about you. Ellis and Fatima have a conversation in the diner, and Ellis says, listen, babe, let's just get married, and right now, why wait? Let's get this done. She accepts, and they agree to get married. And basically, after that, we see Kenny going down Father Cotchery to go see what's going on down there, and that's where he finds Sarah, and that's where the episode ends with that. So that's a breakdown of the episode. Let's get to the theories that I have about this episode. There is one common theme from everybody that we see in this one episode, and that is broken. Everybody in this episode is broken in their own way. Jim is broken physically more than mentally. Tabitha is broken. She can't deal with the hallucinations that she's having. Julie is broken because her mother is not expressing what she wants to express to her. Ethan's out here playing with the same exact toy that she's seen the other kids have inside of her memory, inside the caverns down there. Donna is broken because she wasn't able to save as many lives of the people that she wanted to save in there. Victor is broken because Jade took his violin and trashed his room. Jade is broken because he can't figure out exactly what's going on with this message, and he can't figure out what it means. Everybody in this episode is broken. As we've seen, Fatima is broken. Everyone is. Kenny is broken because his girl's girl is there. Kenny's girl is broken because she just witnessed a girl get a rod pulled out of her head and died right in front of her. That is the theme through this whole episode, that everybody is broken. And how are they going to deal with this brokenness? And that is the reason why I believe that these monsters put that woman there to break people. They're doing it to break them because they've been surviving a long time with the talismans inside of the houses, and they've been getting away with a good life. But now the stress is about to come on. We start hearing talks about food, how much food it's going to be. You know, are they going to have enough? The crops were all taken out. As I said before, they were living a good life for a very long time. But now it seems like whoever is in control of this situation right now said, all right, y'all had it too cushy. Let's put 22 people up in this piece, and we're going to see how you survive with it. We're going to put a hothead guy in here. We're going to put a bunch of other people in here. Let's see how y'all handle the situation dealing with this. And these monsters, how did they know exactly where to insert this rod that it would keep her alive and keep her there? Because that music went off on that telephone. She didn't push it there, and there were no monsters to be found. So therefore, whoever's in control of this whole situation turned on that song because they knew that those people were there, that Kenny and Ellis were coming, and that they would hear that song on that phone. We also got definite confirmation, because I know a lot of people say, what's going on with the cell phones? The cell phones just don't work there. There's no towers there. Whatever you want to say, the cell phones don't work. That's why no one's trying to communicate with the phones. As for Boyd himself, I think it's setting up right now, from what we can see, of people thinking, that Boyd is going to lose his mind, that Boyd is going to go crazy. The way people are acting about him and the way he's acting about it himself will lead others to believe that Boyd doesn't have his wits about him. Donna asked that specifically. I need to know that you're okay. Ellis looked at him funny. He's even looking at himself funny. So I think they're trying to set up that the town, the people in it, are going to think Boyd is crazy. Maybe this is how the new dude, AJ, who's the actor playing this dude, I think his name is Colin, moves in and takes over from Boyd, saying he doesn't have his wits about him. Let me be the new guy. And that's what I think is going down in this episode. But you let me know what you think in the comment section. And join us live tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the Escaping From After Show, where we'll go into great detail breaking down this full episode, and I'll go through some more theories. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.